come on, they're going to lecture me about civility, but you have me on for a pretense, the book. You don't ask me a single question about the book, and you refuse to even mention my last name. I was like, this is going wrong real fast.
All right, here we go. This is the Rubin Report. I'm still Dave Rubin, and I have a feeling that YouTube may not be thrilled with this episode, so even more reason to subscribe and click that bell so that you actually get notified when the clips come out. And joining me today is the VP of the Trump Organization and the author of the new book, Triggered, Donald Trump Jr. Welcome to the Rubin Report.
Good to be with you, buddy.
All right, here we go, man. I'm 50-50 on whether this stream is going to be up by the time I finish this very sentence right now. What do you think?
It's sort of a win either way, right? Yeah. If they censor you, we can blow it up and make it go everywhere, and then other people will watch. But it's a shame that we even have to have that conversation, right?
It's sort of ridiculous. We're going to get to that, and that actually has a lot to do with what you write about in the book here, about all the tech censorship and all that stuff. But before we do any of that, I don't know if you remember, but a couple days you were on The View, that View program on ABC.
I don't remember that. No one's mentioned that to me since.
Yeah, do you remember that? So there were so many things that happened in that interview that I was like, holy cow, this is everything that I talk about all at once. Yeah. So let's just try to hit a couple things in a row here. So first off, the way the interview started, where Whoopi, who I used to really like Whoopi, I think she used to be a decent liberal and now she's kind of gone off the progressive deep end. She couldn't even say your name in the intro. She literally refused to say your name. What does that feel like when you sit down and you know you're in enemy territory, and then the way they treat you before anything has happened?
Yeah. Well, listen, it obviously shows just how disingenuous the whole thing is, first and foremost, right? I mean, they invite you on to talk about your book. Did you hear a question? Number one, meaning I did 3 segments. Now, listen, I'm not a baby, right? Like, I get, I'm going to get hit. I get that in that case, there's not even a conservative on my side, given the history, there, Abby Hunt's been sort of whatever. There's not a lot of personality there for that kind of stuff. So, I get it. I get that I'm going into the lion's den, but come on, they're going to lecture me about civility, but you have me on for a pretense, the book. You don't ask me a single question about the book, and you refuse to even mention my last name. I was like, this is going wrong real fast, but that's
so
okay.
She basically said the son of the president, and then she kind of choked out DJT.
Don Jr., I think, or Donald Jr., she said. She didn't say, she never said Trump.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay, I guess people know, but what does it serve?
Yeah, but it does set a certain tone, and that's been consistent. I mean, Rand Paul was on there a couple weeks ago, 100%. And the way they were treating him. But then a few things happened in a row that I thought were pretty interesting. So you started getting hit, and you apparently had done a little research, because you turned the question around and said to Joy, Joy, you've been in blackface.
Yeah.
And now Joy has been in blackface. She has admitted it on The View. She immediately said she hasn't. Whoopi then said, well, I'm a black woman, and I know what blackface is. Now,
and Whoopi, and you supported Roman Polanski, a child rapist. So
it's not rape. That's what she said.
Yeah, you're right. Sodomy of a 13, 14-year-old girl under Quaaludes. You're right. That's not rape, Whoopi. If that's not rape, I don't know what is. And now you're seeing, by the way, literally the day after, it broke. Some other woman accused him of. So is that one rape? I just want to make sure we're clear.
But what do you make of the idea that they never get these things turned on them? That's what was so shocking to me. Nobody does it, even though we all know it.
Correct, and it was funny because I see that. I mean, in the last couple of days, just doing these book signings, even these guys, will come to the book signing. They'll be like, "I love what you did on The View." I'm like, "What were you doing watching The View?" They're like, It was sort of funny turning it around, but. I think what it is, honestly, Dave, so many people are used to going on those shows. They have big viewerships. They have big following. They want to get invited back. They're there to pitch something, and as was I. I mean, I didn't just go on there for fun.
Right.
They're there to pitch something. So they're so desperate about wanting to be invited back that even though it was their 5,000th episode, I don't think anyone's ever pushed back on them.
Yeah.
They can sort of say it's The View, not views.
Right.
There's one view, and if you don't have it, they're going to go after you. And so I guess I just sort of took their script on them, and people were like, well, how much did you prep for that? I was like, I didn't prep for that. I was like, you know what, let me have something in my back pocket. If we can have a civil discourse, it's great. If we can talk about it, and again, understanding
so truly,
that there's
it was not your intention to flip it on.
No, that's why I sort of held off, but it was like, they went at me so hard, I figured, hey, if I'm on for 3 segments, okay, hey, we'll talk a little bit, and then they'll get rough. But just the opening salvo is just aggressive. Even the conservatives sort of come at you. So I was like, okay, like game on, like I can play. I mean, so I didn't prep, but I went on Google I was like, stupidest things ever said on The View. Like, like, whoa. Like, this was not like a well-researched, counterattack measure, but like, it's like, it was good to have something in my back pocket that shows a lot of that hypocrisy.
What does that tell you more broadly about the media, though, that they usually know they can sort of say whatever they want? And I don't mean just the View hosts, but basically sort of all the lefty media can say whatever they want. You guys just sort of take the hits usually, and then the media then will cover their tracks after. That's sort of the game that I think a lot of this book is about.
Most people won't even go because most people are afraid of the confrontation on a live screen and stuff like that. They're concerned. Like the difference between me and so many people, like I don't care, what the media says. I mean, some of the guys that I spend a lot of time with now in politics and stuff. I mean, they've literally had reporters call me like. What is it with Don? He just doesn't seem to mind when we attack. I'm like, because I don't. Like, it means absolutely nothing.
Where do you think that do you think that's directly from your dad?
I guess it's just, listen, I've been used to it. I think there's a genetic component. I sort of joke in the book. I say, it took us probably 41 years to realize that we were much more like each other than you would have thought. With my hobbies, the outdoors, like my, sleeping on couches in the Midwest. Like, that's not his thing. He doesn't understand that. And so I think if anyone would have asked us prior to sort of the viciousness of politics, they would have been like, Don's the one that probably least likely, and it was like, now it was like, oh, well, they kind of fight the same way. You back us in a corner, you attack us for 3 years mercilessly, we fight. And, I guess that's the difference. It just doesn't bother me that much. So I don't really care what other people think of me. It's never been something that's fazed me that much. And so I'll get my part out, and whatever they say, they say. I don't freak out if I get a bad press. I get bad press every day. Like, they try to, anything I do and say can be used against me. This is relevant because it's literally today, Veterans Day. In the book, I wrote, there's a chapter about sort of the victory. And I say, after 2 years of sort of that just fighting during the campaign, when we won on election night, like I was not at all like excited about it. It wasn't like, we won a hockey game and it's like, yes, 2 hours of, and
you're more like,
it was so vicious. So the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, they're so intense. It wears you down, it beats you down. So when we won and they're like, we got it, I'm pacing around like a caged animal, be like, no. They're gonna do something. They're going to take what Hillary said Trump supporters were going to do. They're going to do exactly that. It turned out I was right? Meaning they were going to try to, they were going to, protest in the streets. That's what she's saying Trump supporters are going to do.
Right. They're not going to accept the results.
100%.
Yeah.
So I was there like, no. Like, I figured this game out now. They're going to do something. So when John Podesta got on stage and was like, well, I was like, I was happier about that, even though it meant we were still fighting and it wasn't over, and than I was that we had won, which is a pretty warped reality. But again, after 2 years
what was that night like, though? Because Hillary didn't concede that night.
Well, she did. She did later on that night. But this it was sort of a wishy-washy concession, and then it was like, let's see if we can pull some recounts. Turns out we actually got more votes in the recounts. But so I wasn't at all psyched. It didn't hit me at what we had won and accomplished. So I write a chapter in the book saying when it hit me was literally like 2.5 months later, and it was rolling into Arlington. For the wreath laying ceremony. And I was like, I'm not an overly emotional kind of guy. Like I said, I can kind of compartmentalize the hate and just move on. But like, dude, it hit me pretty hard. And we're rolling into Arlington, and you see the gravity of the responsibility that is, what my father has to do right now. Like, and I was so happy then it all hit me then because he's the guy in charge. I know he's going to be such a good leader. I know he's going to get out of these endless wars. And you're seeing it. And like some guy on like left wing like tries to take like some of it. He compared his sacrifices. I said that made everything, all the BS that we've been going through, 100% worth it because he's the leader now that we need. And they tried to make it seem as though like I was obviously saying that my sacrifices as a business, as a person, over a campaign was the same as the death of Americans. Like I was like, honestly, I can't even engage because they'll try to build, but like no reasonable person outside of like left wing and like Vanity Fair and these like loser pubs that will try to take like anything you say and dunk on you. Like no reasonable human being of the thousands that have reached out to me that love the book, not one has even thought that what they're saying I must have meant was what I meant. I don't think any reasonable person was, but that's what they will do. And that's the sickness that is really out there in the media.
In a weird way, though, do you guys kind of need that now? Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of become this self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like the media is awful. Everyone watching this knows that. They keep doubling down on lies and racist and homophobe and all that nonsense.
All those things.
And we'll get to all that.
I wasn't talking with you before we ever got into politics, right?
Well, okay, so let's just do that real quick. I was going to save it till later, but about 8 years ago, you did my SiriusXM show. It was on the OutQ gay channel. I didn't want to be on the gay channel, but they're like, you're gay, we're putting
you got to start somewhere, Dave. Congratulations.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I did start somewhere, but it was separate but equal. You know what I mean? You have an equal radio channel, but it's the gay channel. But anyway, I got in touch with you. You came on the show, and at this time, again, 8 years ago, you were for gay marriage. Your dad was not. This is way before he was running for president or anything. And I asked you about that, and I'm not going to, you can repeat what you said, basically. If you want.
I'm a living. I probably said something to the effect of, you know what? Happy people are productive people. It doesn't bother me at all.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.